week on the Wall of Fame, it's Susie versus Jason in a battle of bar games, but not the computerised variety. We're talking pinball versus table football.
After the fruit machine, pinball is the most successful arcade game ever.
More than 12 million pinball machines have been made, and in America alone, more than $100 million are fed into them each year.
In a world dominated by ultra-sophisticated video games, shooting a small metal ball around a series of neon obstacles may seem rather simplistic. However, it's that simplicity that makes these machines so hugely attractive.
All you do is fire the ball into play and then keep it there with a pair of flippers, and that's it. But with all the lights flashing, counters spinning, buzzers, whirs and bells going off, it's like having your own personal fairground.
Extra ball!
Pinball began in the 1930s and was based on the game of bagatelle. You'd launch a ball which would bounce across these pins before eventually landing in a hole, scoring your points. That's why it's called pinball.
Get the ball in the 2000, you might even get a drink from the barman.
But in 1947, flippers were added to keep the ball in play, and the modern pinball machine was born. Throughout the 50s and 60s, you'd find a pinball machine in almost every cafe, diner and bar in America, and millions more across the rest of the globe. It was cool, it was rock and roll. New machines came out every few weeks, adorned with artwork reflecting the pop culture of that moment. With the advent of computers and computer games, rather than dying out, pinball machines reached even greater heights. Some even incorporating computer gaming into the whole pinball experience.
Pinball is still cool, and there's still nothing that beats the visceral thrill of keeping these flippers flipping or hearing those buzzers and bells. Pinball is a total legend.
Of course, the real gadget king of the bar games is this. Table football, the best way to play the world's most popular sport without the need to wear a nylon shirt, in feasibly small shorts and get very muddy and have a bath with the players afterwards. Which I've always quite liked the idea of, if I'm brutally honest.
It began around the start of the 20th century, with a whole heap of different countries all claiming they came up with it first. The French say the game they call baby-foot was invented by a bloke called Lucien Rosengart to keep his grandchildren occupied. The Swiss think it was the appropriately named Mr. Kicker who invented the game, they now call Kicker. And the Germans think they started the ball rolling by creating the very first primitive tables.
But I reckon the real inventor was a Brit called Harold Thornton. He went to a Spurs match in 1922 and he walked away wondering what it would be like to try and recreate the football experience in his home. He grabbed a matchbox, stuck some matches through it, and thus was born the first design for table football.
Whoever invented the game, by the Second World War, it had become a worldwide success.
Oh, beautiful shot! The genius of this game is its simplicity. 4 rods, each with plastic players attached to them in various numbers, which you use to simply put the ball in the back of the opponent's goal. Like this. Wait, not my goal, no!
Just like the real beautiful game, you don't have to have any skill at all to enjoy a match, but also just like real football, if you do want to take it seriously, there are leagues and competitions. There's even a world championship with prize money of a couple of £100,000.
It's clever, it's simple, and totally addictive. Millions of people play it across the world, and for that reason, I think table football truly deserves a place on the Gadget Show Wall of Fame. Goal!
Very entertaining. As ever, a couple of questions. Susie, isn't it a bit Billy No Mates there playing pinball on your own?
No, because pinball's for up to 4 players, so it doesn't have to be a lonely experience. And look at it, it's just gorgeous. Look at the graphics, it's moved with the times. It really deserves its place on the Wall of Fame.
Jason, table football, very popular, but it's not really very gadgety, it's not very techy, is it?
I don't think it's quite gadgety. I think there's a simple mechanical prowess to this game, and there's also a reason why it hasn't essentially changed since the 1920s, because it just works. You bang it around and you have loads of fun.
Ooh, interesting. It's pretty close, you know. I mean, I came into the studio wanting one thing, and now I've changed my mind.
Oh!
But I have decided, and the winner is the pinball.
Yay!
Because you can play it by yourself, you can play it in teams. it just looks so glamorous. It's really moved with the times. It looks great. It's cooler. And of the two, it's the one I prefer to play. So for that reasons, it's going on the Wall of Fame.
There we go.